Hello crocheters, welcome to Crazy Cool Crochet. This is Sylvia, and in this project we are working on this really cute crochet cardigan with a front closure. So as you can see from the photos, this is not your typical cardigan. This one has a very special look to it with the front closure, with the buttons at the top, only a couple, and the front panels overlap each other, or one overlaps the other. And this is what gives it its really cool, unique look. Now, I made it in this super colorful colorway. However, this also looks beautiful with a solid color body and then a contrasting border. So for this project, I use the value yarn. It's number 4, both the multicolor and the solid number 4. You'll want a couple of buttons, scissors. The hook is a 5mm. You'll need a yarn needle, and you might want to grab a measuring tape. Please remember, as I always say, to get more detail. I try to give as much detail in the video as far as sizing and different, but for the detail as to how much yarn was used, that kind of thing, you'll want to go in the description box below the video. You'll have to open that up, and that way you'll see more information. You'll also get all of my social media links and the link to the pattern. So please make sure you open up the detail. Now I want to give you an idea of how this looks as we're working it. So we are working it this way, but then we will wear it this way. So we make 2 front panels that are identical except for one little difference. On the one panel you will have a couple of little openings for the buttonholes, and don't worry, it's only a matter of skipping a stitch or 2, no big deal. As far as changing color, that also is very simple. So aside from the 2 front panels, we will need 1 back panel. That's exactly the same. And then 2 separate panels for the sleeves, again made exactly the same. So it's all a fairly simple pattern overall. We're going to start with a chain of 65 in the multicolor, 4 size small. Now we're going to bring in the blue, or the solid. And we need to work 15 additional chains. So all you do is grab your yarn, pull it through. Now you might want to tug on that first color a little bit to tighten it up just a tad. Now do 15. See how easy that was to attach a new color? Okay, now we're going to work in half double crochets. Grab your yarn, skip the first 2 chains, not counting the loop on the hook. Skip the first 2, half double into the 3rd chain. And then half double in each of the blue chains. It occurs to me you may not know how to do the half double, so let me do that for you slower. Okay, grab your yarn, 3 loops on the hook, pull through all 3. That's a half double crochet, easy. Grab your yarn, go into the next chain, pull up your loop, 3 loops on the hook, pull through all 3. Tighten this up a little bit, just a little. There's your last of the solid color. So start that last half double and then stop with your 3 loops on the hook. Drop the blue to the back because we're working on the front here. Grab your multicolor. Complete that last half double with the multicolor. And that's how you change colors. And then you just continue working your half doubles in each chain. For 65 of the multicolor. When you complete that first row of half double crochets, chain 2 and turn. Now we're going to work in back loop only half double crochets. Grab your yarn, look at the chains at the top of the row that you just completed. When you complete a row, you look at the top and you'll see chains that have formed. We're working into the center of the chain, which brings us into that back loop. Back loop only. Half double crochet. Back loop, half double. Now if you happen to work this in a solid color rather than a multi, then you need to be a little bit more careful. With this multicolor, it's very obvious where your chain at the top is. With a solid color, sometimes it's very confusing because you can see right here it looks like it's forming chains in the front. So you might think, oh, there's the back loop and you work in there. No. Flip it over a little bit. There's your top. Not that. That. Okay, so continue for your 65. When you get to number 65 of the multi, wait right there. And we're going to change color to the blue. Now we're coming up to number 65 of the multi. And then you stop with the 3 loops on the hook. Do not complete it yet. This is the wrong side, so we're bringing the current color this way to keep it on the wrong side. Pull up the solid color. Complete that last half double with the solid color. That's it. And then continue with your half double crochets for the 13 all the way to the end. Chain 2, turn, and continue with your half double crochets until you get to number 13 and then stop. Now we are going to work the last of the blue half double, and then you stop, and we're going to bring back the multicolor. So drop this to the back because we're working on the front again, and then pick up the multicolor that was in the back. Complete that last half double with the multicolor. That's all there is to it. And then continue with your half doubles in the multi all the way across. When you get to the end, chain 2, turn, continue with your 65 multicolor, and then you will get to number 65. Don't finish it. Don't complete the 65th half double. 3 loops on the hook. There's your blue. You will complete it with the blue and then continue across. And your multicolor will come this way on the back end, the back side. So you're keeping all of those stragglers to the back side. And that's it. You just continue repeating those half double crochet rows for the entire panel. And I will come back when we're working on the second panel to show you how to do those buttonholes. So you will work that front panel for a total of 32 rows. And a lot of people have trouble counting rows, but I'm going to show you a very simple way to do it when you're working with back loop only rows. So for each raised row, okay, so in between the raised row, you have another row. So your first row, I'm going to call it a flat row. And then the next one, row number 2, is a raised row. 3 is hidden in there. 4 raised. Okay, so count by 2s. Each raised row counts as 2. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32. So hopefully that helps. And of course you can always count on the solid colors if it's easier to see. Same thing. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and continue. To work the panel, the front panel that has the buttonholes, you're going to start the panel exactly the same as you did for the first one, the one where you put the buttons on. And then you work through row 2. On row 3, you work normally until you get to the stitch number 56, 5, 6. You complete number 56 of the multicolor back loop only half double crochet. That's number 56. Chain 2, skip 2 stitches, work 3 back loop only half double crochets, chain 2, skip 2, and then work the last 2 back loop only half double crochets, then chain 2, there's your buttonholes, turn, and then you continue with your back loop only half double crochets, and now for those 2 stitches, the 2 chains, go ahead and work into that back loop of the chain. There were 2 of those. Then work your 3 stitches. Work the 2 chains, back loop only, half double crochets. And then you can continue to complete the row as normal. It's a very simple way to create buttonholes. To attach the buttons, and this is entirely dependent on the size of your buttons. Okay, so adjust as needed. But for my buttons, I'd say they were about medium sized. I used a regular needle and thread and went up to row 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, remember? Okay, so about row 20, I attached the first one about 1/4 inch from the top, and then the second one about 1/4 inch from the first one. Now make sure that you match this up with the panel with the buttonholes. You might have to adjust according to that panel. And of course this is on the right side. So again, there's the right side with the foundation chain tail. For the back row, you will work it exactly the same as you've been working for the front panels, and you work for a total of 49 rows. To make the sleeves, of course you need 2. You will start with the multicolor yarn and chain 59, 5-9. Then attach the blue or the solid and work for 15 chains. So everything is the same as for the front panel. Work the pattern exactly the same, except this time you're going to work for 34 total rows. And of course 59 of the multicolor stitches, and then 13 of the solid border. Now we're going to start seaming, and I am showing you how we are going to seam the shoulders first, but this is a little bit different because we're overlapping the front panels, if you recall. So we need to determine the center or the neck opening. So you'll want to place your panels with the back wrong side up, and then the front panels right side up, so that the wrong sides are touching. This is just for the placement. We're not seaming it this way. Okay, so now to determine the neck opening, I like to generally use an 8 or 9 inch opening. This is 8 inches, and this does stretch a lot, so 8 inches is plenty for me anyway. Adjust as you prefer. So now what I did was count, or I actually wanted the seam line, or the neckline, about 1 inch from the edge of this panel. 1 inch over, I placed a stitch marker, then I counted how many rows that was, and then for the opposite side, I counted same number of rows as the other side and placed the stitch marker there. So now we've got an even shoulder seam. So we are not seaming it right side out, so we have to make our adjustments here. Now all I did was splay this open. So I took the front panels and just like flipped them over. There's the neck opening, and you can see your stitch markers. I just use a contrasting string of yarn or strand of yarn. Now we're going to seam from the edge to your stitch marker on both sides. So now we're going to take the yarn needle with the length of yarn. And in case I didn't make it clear, these are the wrong sides. So we're seaming on the wrong side. Attach your yarn in the cornermost stitch of both panels. I like to use a knot. And then I prefer a whip stitch, so just go around the back side to the front panel, go back to the back panel, through the front, try to go under 2 strands. And that's it. So just do that all the way until you get to your stitch marker. After you have gotten to your stitch marker, which was right here for me, then you just come back through a few stitches, and then my preference is to again use knots. So I will go under 1 strand, bring that strand through, do 2 or 3 chains, and then I squeeze it down super tight and then cut that off. So there's your seam. You can repeat on the other side. To seam the sleeves, we want everything wrong side up. Find the center of the top of the sleeve, line it up with the seam of the shoulder, use your stitch marker, and then we're going to seam again with the whip stitch from the bottom up, and then repeat on the other side. After you have seamed the sleeve to the body, now it's time to seam the side and under the sleeve. So what I am going to do is seam with the blue or the solid color here, and then switch it to the multicolor. Using the same whip stitch, seam up and then under. And then again switch to the solid color. The last thing to do, and then we can be done with this, is a row of single crochet. And I'm not showing how to do it because it's just a row of single crochet. So you attach your yarn with the multicolor. I did not add anything to the solid color. That's already nicely finished. So you attach your yarn with a chain 1, and then you work a single crochet into each stitch. That's it, all the way around. When you get to the corner, you do 4 single crochets in the corner, and that keeps your corner nice and straight. And then a single crochet all the way around the back of the neck. You'll come back around, do your 4 single crochets in the corner, and then come down, single crochet in each stitch, and then stop when you get to the solid color, tie it off, and weave it in the back. And for a little clarification in case that's needed, up at the top at the neckline, this part that's on the inside, it will lay flat up against your chest when you have it closed up with the buttons. So you don't need to add anything, another button to keep it closed. It will stay on its own. For more clarity on the design itself, when you are wearing this does open up at the bottom. That's part of the design. It's closed up way over here, so that does cause the panels to open up, and that is by design. So don't think that it's messed up or it's not right and it should be like that. Look at the photos at the beginning and you'll see what I mean. Okay, that's it for this project. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up down below, leave a comment, let me know what you think about it. As I said before, I think this would look even nicer with a solid color and the contrasting border color, also solid. But I know so many people like their multicolor variegated yarns, so I thought I'd throw something up that would work with that. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head over to my Etsy shop, crazycoolcrochetus.etsy.com. Grab up the pattern or look around and see what other things I have out there. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Okay. Thank you again, and we'll see you on the next project.